Hi, my name is Terry Lee from Sweet Pea Papers in the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and it's Monday, so that means it's another episode of our Page by Page Project 2. So now, this is our book so far, and we're on page 18 out of 26. So we are moving right along, and we're going to have to fit quite a few pages in here, and we're starting to get a little fat, so we're going to have to think about, the thickness of our pages, which is pertinent to what we're going to be doing. That's my big word for the day. Okay, so we're going to set that to the side. Today, like I said, is page 18. And the topic that I picked is Shabby Chic. And the reason I did that is because this is going to be February 13th when this is published. And that's the day before Valentine's Day, which I personally don't celebrate, but I'm sure most of you guys do. And if you do, happy Valentine's Day. And as you can see, I have organized chaos going on over here. I don't normally do a lot of the lace and the flat back pearls and all that. So we are going to have an adventure in lace together, especially because my hands are so cold, my fingers are purple. All right, so let's set this to the side. Oh, and there's also this list of things to consider to add to your journal. And I got this from Joy over at Junk Journal with Joy Facebook group, and her link is below. So I'd like to thank her. I haven't used anything off this list yet, but I just got it. And so, and she said it was okay for me to use it. And so we'll be working off of this one as well. Okay, so what we've got today is me accidentally going a little bit ahead because I kind of was getting into it. So I normally do cut the page. The paper, and the backing paper, and I've inked the paper. This paper is, let me get my notes here so I know. This paper is from Antique Papery, and it's from, the kit is called Valentine Collection, and it's not available, I'm sorry, anymore, unless you're a lifetime member of the Antique Papery group. And if you are, then you can go into the discontinued folder and you will find this kit there. We're going to use lace, flat back pearls. I was thinking clear Velcro dots, but now I'm thinking pocket. And then we're going to use the coffee dyed paper that's been sprayed with the alcohol ink / white pearl metallic paint. And it gives it that sheen, which I don't know why I always do this, because you guys can never see it on the camera. But just have to come visit me sometimes and I'll show you the books that I have that in. So we're going to set the paper and the backing page to the side until we do the pocket. Okay, let's not set the stencil on that. Let's put that right here. Okay, all right, now we're going to cut this somehow to make the pocket. Probably cut the bottom off and then cut this across here and try to get these two big roses. We also have to consider that there's going to be lace and stuff on the card itself. So, we don't want to just stuff it into a pocket. So we may end up with a belly band. We may end up with a tuck, so that way you don't have to worry about, the card thickness. Absolute last result is resort is going to be our removable tape, which means you stick it on and then you can stick it, unstick it, stick it, unstick it forever, apparently. The only thing is if you get them dirty, I would think you'd be able to see it. So otherwise they're invisible. And of course the other last resort is the clear Velcro dots, and this is the Velcro brand, so I can call them Velcro. On a side note, not hook and loop. But okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I've used Victorian Velvet as my ink. It's very pretty. And I've got some different laces, and got some flatback pearls, and a stencil. So let's just get started. So I cut the card. It's rather large, and let me look at my measurements. It's 4 3/4 by 7 inches. So we're just going large or go home, right? So the next thing we want to do is back the card with the coffee dyed paper. I have Fabri-Tac all over me. We're going to set this to the side as well for now. So we're going to turn this, we're going to turn this over and put glue on it. It's early in the morning. I'm having car issues, so I'm having a little bit of trouble concentrating. I can't do anything about it until 8 a.m. and it's 5:30, so why not film? Get your mind off of it, Terry. And it's the funniest thing. Well, it's not funny. They're doing construction outside my building, so I had to move my car. And the only spot I could find was this little tiny parking spot that was at an angle and forward. And I was getting ready that day to go get gas for my car. All right, you guys know where this is going, right? To get gas for my car and to go to UPS to mail off a swap that I had. And because the UPS store will do postal stuff as well. And so I went down there after parking my car down there for the construction for 2 days. I went down there to get my car, and there's nothing wrong with my car. You know what I mean? There's nothing mechanically wrong with my car. And then my car wouldn't start, and I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, I got a brand new battery, you know, everything's fine. And then I realized that because of the angle and the tip forward, that the sensor in the trunk in the gas tank probably thought there was no gas in the car. So now I'm sitting there with no gas in the car. I live out here in Seattle by myself with no family. Pretty much keep to myself. So I don't really have anybody right at the ready to call. Don't feel bad for me. I like it that way, except for times like this. And I hate asking for help. I prefer to take care of things on my own. So I have to wait until the Jiffy Lube up the street opens, because apparently they do light duty roadside assistance, which I think bringing you gas. It's so silly. It's just going to get gas like right then. Okay, and keep these. They make good little notepads if nothing else. Okay, so now that looks pretty. So now we're going to ink the back. Sorry, I couldn't ink this ahead of time until we put it on there. And then I have a big rose stencil, so I think we'll use that on the back. We'll use this Victorian Velvet color. So anyway, that's enough of the woe is me. You guys can get a good giggle out of it. I think it's kind of silly. And then chastise yourself for eating while I'm doing this video, while you're watching. I usually eat breakfast around 6. It's only 5:30. So, you know what that means. That means I'm hungry. And it's your fault. Okay, so what I've done is I've made sure the top is at the top, because this, I feel, is slightly directional. So I'm going to put it in the center. And I'm not, maybe I should use washi to hold it down. Let me find. I always use like the washi that I know I'm never going to use. Like probably this 3-leaf clover. Let's see if I can find the end. Someone sent it to me, so I should get good use out of it. Oh, goodness. I know there's an end on it. There has to be. Okay. Well, I can't find it. I'm not going to sit here and... I was going to say, I'm not going to sit here forever messing with it. Apparently I am. All I wanted to do is hold the stencil down. Now the washi won't come off my finger. It must be why I couldn't get it apart. It's going to really stick. Hope that's not going to be a problem with the coffee dyed paper. Just lightly. They're not even 4-leaf clovers. It's not even lucky. Okay. So get out my brush for my pinks. This is completely a totally light color. So it's kind of hard to gauge how much you're getting on the page because it's so light that you go over it more. And now see, like right there, it's fairly dark because I thought it was so light that I wouldn't need to tap off that extra little bit of ink that you get when you come right off the pad without tapping the... I don't mind getting the roses a little bit darker. But now that I've got that one spot darker that's not the rose, then I guess I'm going to have to go around and get the whole thing a little bit darker than I wanted. I mean, you can still write on it, of course. This isn't a hard video. The hardest part to me was trying to figure out which darn lace to use. I have a drawer full of lace. None of it is truly cream colored. They all, it might be the lights. They all seemed a little yellow to me. I didn't want yellow. So now I'm looking at white, because there's white in this as well. As you can see, that's a very bright white. But I didn't want coffee stained. I put that up against it and that looked terrible. Okay, so let's take this off. Alright, maybe I'll stick those up there in case I need to use them again in the future. Why waste it? It's still fairly sticky, as you can see, because I can't get it off my finger. Oh, that turned out pretty. And it's glittery. I don't know if you can see the... So that's nice. Okay, so we can put the stencil to the side. Now, on this side, I love this picture. I think that photo is beautiful. And the half that we're going to use for the pocket has a similar, at first I thought it was the same, but it's not, a similar picture, but we're not going to be able to use it. We're going to be using this half of the page. Okay, so now this side has been inked. So now what I'm thinking is to use this ribbon, this lace all the way around, which, even though I have some really thick, beautiful lace that I wanted to use, which was this, which would have been really nice, except that it's way too, you know, big for the book. I have to use it for something else. I keep getting it out on all these different projects because I keep wanting to use it. But it isn't something I could use on, you know, what I try to use it on. Excuse me. Okay. So I think I'm going to go with this. And then we're going to put this on top of it. If I can get it untangled. I don't know. What did I wrap it around this little spindle thing for if it's going to get tangled up? Anyway, and then put this on top of that. And then we're going to put our flat back pearls on top of that. That's my plan. So I'm not really sure about which way you're supposed to, I think you do the side to side last. You know what I mean? I think you do top to bottom and then you do side to side last. So let's get our length. We're very close to our length. Put out a bead of glue. Like I said, this is not difficult at all. She says confidently. And I want some of the lace to stick out over. If I'd thought about it, I would have found a charm and maybe used a bulb pin and a charm. We have to remember how wide this card is as well. Our page is only 4 1/4 or 5 1/4, and the card's 4 3/4, so we can't have very much sticking out. I need to bring this in so that the center is on the card because we need to run that ribbon along it. I just thought of that too. Come on, get back on here. So we'll have to do it just like that, with the center right along the edge. Okay. Let's do the other side. Okay, we'll get this glued. I wish it was heavier. I mean, not heavier, but lacier. However, we're going to put the ribbon and the flat back pearls on as well. So I hope we make up for it in quantity. Yep, definitely starving. Definitely glued my finger to the card. Save those little tiny scraps. Maybe not that tiniest one, but okay, here we go across, which I think we're going to have to be more precise. It's going to be a little harder to trim. Oh no, because it's only glued to there. So then we're going to run the glue across the top. There's a big blob. Not exactly the effect I was looking for. Oh shoot, I forgot to cut the width. want to bring it down. It's just like the sides. This time I'm going to measure first. Glue second. Probably like that rule of measuring twice, cutting once. Would think. I may start using my webcam mic so I don't have to have a mic pinned on. Then I could be free. But I just think that this lapel mic sounds better. Okay, now we gotta move this out. Darn it. That worked. All right. Okay. All right. Put this on top of there. I'm liking it. You know, for just a little card that we can't really frou-frou up as well as we would like. A little piece of glue on the ribbon right there. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do from the bottom to the top. Now I'm wondering if we should do it from here. Sorry about that. We'll do that from there to there. Yeah, from the middle to the middle. Don't worry, then we have one more layer. We are in gluing heaven. That wasn't the glue, that was my stomach growling. Why don't I just eat a granola bar before I film? I don't understand. What? Oh, what am I thinking? I'm thinking that's pretty crooked. I don't know why I love, well, this is going to come out wrong. I love crafting, but I don't know why, but recently I've been thinking about my video games. It takes me a while to write this up. And I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but I actually picture it in my head, believe it or not. And then I write it out, and then I film it. You would think I would film it, then write it up. But no. And I forgot to cut the length again. Middle to the middle. Go there and then trim it. Anyway, so I spend a lot of time in here Takes a lot of time to get all this done. I'm not complaining, I love it. But I'm just saying, I think I should take some time and get the heck out of the craft room, huh? There's life other than crafting. Sacrilege. Who would even think that? Okay, this time I'm going to measure. So we're going to go across here, obviously. Just a smidgen. Let's see how we're doing. Okay. Well, all I can say is the lace is definitely going to stay down with this many layers of glue on it. I was like, where's the piece I just cut? Wow, just barely. Trimmed that off. Very close. Very, very close. Okay, we've got to do this one at the top. I hate the fact that somebody's got to overlap. I guess they don't actually, do they? Now that I think about it. You can push it up here and push it up there and cut it off. I didn't even think of that. Oh well, we're committed now. My hands are so cold, I'm going to have to run them under some hot water. When I do that, my fingertips will turn completely purple. It's like I have frostbite or something. And it's 72 degrees in here. It's not like it's Antarctic conditions or anything. It's not even that cold outside for February. I am in Seattle, but yeah, it's 46 degrees. That's amazing. Okay. Gosh, I like that. Wish I didn't have to put the pearls on there. She almost looks like she could be like a queen or a princess. Okay. I'm going to go run my hands under some warm water. I know all we have left is the pearls in the pocket. And we have to do lace in this and the pearls on the pocket as well. So I'm going to put you on hold for just 1 second. Okay, my hands are still not warm. I did get my hand warmers. So we'll see where we can go from there. All right, So we've got that part done. We need to do the flat back pearls on here. I forgot to eat while you guys were on hold. Now these we're going to have to run from inside to inside. I can't even hold on to them. I'm serious, my hands are so cold. Well, that's not going to work with my watch on, is it? My big snazzy watch, my new watch. It's got my name on it in case you guys forget my name. What is my name? Okay. Some outrageously antique movie reference. You want to stay right down the middle of the ribbon. Okay, let's do the other side. Don't worry, we have to do this to the pocket too. Maybe I'll put just for time's sake, because you watched me do this one. When we get to that part on the pocket, I'll put you on hold and come back and have the lace and stuff done. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be exactly the same as this. There's no sense making you sit through that. I'll just listen to my audiobook. Looks like that's loose right there. Oh, it's just an optical illusion. Because with these, we're going to try to just make a frame. We're not going to overlap anything. Okay, so there's those there. Apologize if you can see the top of my head. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the with the top of my head. Except for maybe that I need to color my hair. You can see my true hair color instead of my supposedly real hair color. Wow, almost out of pearls. I have to get some more. There's the piece I just cut. There it is. I didn't even realize I didn't look. It's a good thing we only need these two strips and the strip across the bottom. There we go. So you see we made a frame. instead of overlapping the pearls, because that would have looked silly. Oh, that looks so pretty. Need bigger, thicker lace, you know, more for it to be true shabby chic. But this is as close as we can get and still make it fit in the book. And I believe fitting in the book is the whole purpose. I think we're going to have to make a little teeny pocket gusset. Oh, here it is. I was like, I knew I just cut a piece. On the bottom pocket, just to make sure that, you know, we're not going to have to squeeze this in enough to not, well, she really looks like a princess now, doesn't she? What do you guys think of that? I like it. Okay, so let's set her to the side somewhere so she can, her pearls can dry. Let's get this page out, or this paper out, and put our backing paper over there with our drying beauty. Now, we've inked all the way around this, but we're going to have to ink around the pocket as well. So I say, wonder if we just put one in the bottom. Trying to think. All right, let's say we want to make the pocket 2 inches high. Go away, you white lace. This is up, the wings at the top. So let's say we wanted to make it 2 inches high. Then we would need to make it 2 1/4 so we could make the score. Okay, so let's make the pocket 2 1/4 inches high. And to do that and get the rows, we're going to have to cut this off, and then or part of it off, and then do our 2 1/4. Okay, let's get our last little bit of pearls out of the way. At least I have the thing, so I can order more. It says spool o' ribbon. Put this over here so I know to get some more. So we want it to be 2 1/4, but we want to figure out where. And put the glue back together here. Okay, so let's figure out how wide is this big red flower. It's almost 3, or it is 3. So let's start off by cutting it off right there at the, what about this white ribbon, white rose, 2 1/4. Okay, so let's cut 1/4 of an inch below this white rose, and then we'll cut up 2 1/4. I'm guesstimating. think I guesstimated too short. We want this to be 2 1/4. It's going to cut off the rows. Let's make it 2 1/2. That'll give us most of the rows. And then our width is going to be 5 1/4. Nope, we don't want to cut the white rows off. Let's do see how far we can go. Sorry about that noise. It's my neighbor's car. Yeah, we can go 5 3/4, and then take a half off the other end. Oh, except I forgot about the gusset. Let's see if we can get away with just doing it on the bottom. 5 1/4. Yeah, so we could have gone a little farther out on that side. Let's double check our width. Yep, 5 1/4. Let's score this. At 1/4 inch. Fold it under. And this will give us a little bit of wiggle room. If I can fold it straight. What the heck? What the heck is wrong with me? And I should have done it on all 3 sides, probably. But I think maybe just giving us that little bit of oomph in the bottom is going to help. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on this line right here. I can hear my pop bubbling in my cup over here because it has a lid. And the pop is so full, the bubbles are hitting the lid. It sounds like pop rocks. That shows how old I am. I'm not really that old. I read about it in a Time magazine. Well, wait a minute. Not a Time magazine. Doesn't matter. Apparently I'm old. Or I study history. That's what it is. I study history. My daughter called me the other day, and we were talking, and she was talking about her chia, and I couldn't figure out what she meant. And then all of a sudden I realized she had a chia pet. She had one of those little clay things that you put the seeds on it, and it grows like hair. And I was like, Leah, seriously? I forgot to glue the sides. Be a much better pocket that way. Look at all that extra glue that came through. It's probably a good thing that I opened it up. You know what I mean? It would have been glued clear up to here because of the extra glue that seeped out over here. Guess I got a little carried away with the glue. Apparently I'm the glue queen. Yeah, see, that gives us just a little bit of extra oomph, even though the sides are glued down flat. Now let's make sure our pretty card is going to fit. I don't think it's going to fit. It's not going to fit. All right, let's take our pocket off real quick. And we'll wait for the glue to dry. And then what we'll do is we'll put you don't have enough room. We don't have enough pearls. Let me think about this now that we have a dilemma. I should have made this a 1/2 inch smaller. We would have lost so much, though, of the rose in the picture. I'm just trying to decide if we need to decorate this. And I think we do. I think maybe the lace and the ribbon. And then we can use... We can try the repositional tape. Then if that eventually doesn't work, because it's going to be in the book and it's just reference for me, and it's going to get squished in because this book is really squishy already. If you were to do it, you might want to use some clear Velcro dots, or you might want to be a little bit smarter than me and make it a little bit smaller by about a 1/2 inch. And then it would have fit in the pocket. I forgot to take into account the lace. Is what the problem is. The lace sticking out on either side. So I'm going to have to mount it to the front of the paper. Or with no pocket, well, I still have to mount it to the paper. I can have it stick out a little bit on this side. Just the lace. And I could look up a bulb pin and a charm. That would be pretty. Okay, let me put you on hold. And I will find a bulb pin and a charm. And then get out the, well, here it is right here, the repositional tape. And I'll be right back. Okay, back from break. I've decided not to do anything on here since this covers it up. I may go back and put just a row of this lace around, but in the interest of time, you'll see it in the photo if I decide to do that. Check it out. I found a bulb pin, and they're called that because they look like light bulbs, in case you're not familiar with those, and it works. It's a type of safety pin. I believe it's for quilting. And then I found this little charm. Remember how I said she looked like she was a princess? Unbelievably, I found this charm that's a little crown, and it says princess on it. Okay, so that's going to hang off the side. So now all we have left to do is listen to the neighbor's dog, the up and down, is put some of this repositional tape, which is invisible, across the top here, which doesn't want to work. This is the second one of these I got that didn't work. There are no dots. There they are. This is the second one. See, there's no dots there. I guess I won't be buying this brand anymore. Let's see if I can find enough dots to at least get this done. Oh, now it's broken. Okay. You get my point. You just put them across there. And then you just lay this down. And you'll be able to stick it and unstick it forever. Okay, so that'll stick it on there. So let's take it off. Can you hear that? Okay, we'll take it off. And then we'll glue this to the backing paper. This has almost been a comedy of errors, but not really. I've just had to put you on hold quite a bit. Not that it's like on hold for you, it's instantaneous, but for me it's not. All right, zooming down the home stretch. I think the charm may be on the wrong side. If so, we'll put it on another page. Because I really don't feel like moving the pin. Trying to remember what, if we're on an even page or an odd page. We're on an even page. So I think it's going to open to the left and our pin is on the right. I'll just move the pin. Silly. Okay, wings go at the top. Let's center that. And if you don't like where your repositional dots go, then you can just rub them off and they just disappear. Now I have some tack and retack glue, but you can't use that for what I mainly wanted to use those dots for, which the very first one worked really well for quite a while. And I was so happy with it, is printing envelopes. So I'm going to have to try to find another brand. I should write the company too. I'm yakking and now it's crooked. Here we go. Let's get our book. Oh, that's the wrong book. I'm doing 3 of these at once, so so we're on page 18, so it does open this way. You know, I'm just going to put it on 19, and then we can put 19 on 18. Let's move this out of the way. We can glue this to this. And then I'll just go back and I think glue some lace around the edge of the page itself. And put that extra glue in the corner to give me that slide ability. Wings at the top. This is one of my favorite pages that we did. Okay, and that's going to go in there like that. How pretty. So that's going to be there. This is going to be here. Let's put our card in straight. Doesn't look like it's going to stick because there's not enough dots. It would be nice if we didn't have the pearls, we could use a decorative paper clip and that would be pretty. Looks like I'm going to have to use Velcro dots to hold it in. So, oh, maybe not. It's okay now. So that's our page. So that means that's our video. And that means I will see you in the next video. And that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, bye-bye.